If you haven't used this RV before or you're new to RVing, I wanted to create a series of videos to help it make sense for you. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is water. So on the right side of the RV, underneath, so that'll be the passenger side, by the door, you can see here, will be the water hose. That's where they will be located. You will notice that there are two hoses. One is a shorter hose and one is a longer hose. Typically, people do not need a 50-foot hose to hook up, but sometimes there might be the water on the opposite side, so you might need a longer hose. Please, what I ask that you do is you use the shorter hose and connect the longer hose if needed. Because there's a reason for that. That's because on the end of the hose that you are going to connect to your water source, like your spigot at a campsite, or if you're going to be filling up your tank with potable water, first of all, you need to make sure you're using the white hoses only for potable water and nothing else. And that secondly, this attachment is what goes into the water and attaches to the water spigot. And that's because this is a regulator that makes sure that there's not too much pressure and it doesn't break the RV water pipes. Secondly, when you go to the RV, there is going to be two options. If you are plugging into a water source, like a spigot at a campsite, then you do not need to fill up the water tank to have water while you're present. So you are going to use this one right here that says City Water Connection. This is on the driver's side of the RV. If you are going to fill up the water tank with potable water, and I always tell people I do not recommend using the water tank water for drinking water. Please, we even have that on our listing. Bring drinking water. Then you are going to use this one located right next to the City Water Connection. So this is for the tank, this one right here. If you are using the City Water Connection with the direct plug-in to water from the campsite that you're at, we have never had any issues. We drink out of that, bathe, whatever, with no issue. And that's because it's coming from a fresh water source at the campsite. So City Water Connection, if you are plugged in, and you will just just attach the hoses and then you can use the water without issue. Do not turn on the water pump in the RV if you are not using the water tank, where you have just filled up the tank with water and then you're dry camping or whatever you're doing. I will show you the next piece of that. So with the water, when you go into the RV, I'm going in the front door. I'm above the sink right now, is this box right here. So right here, because I am not plugged into water right now and there's water in the tank, when I need to use water such as flushing the toilet, the sink, etc., you're going to turn on the water pump and then you will be good to go to turn it on or off. Please turn the water pump off when you are not using it so that it does not run and it does not burn out the water pump. So we only turn it on when we need it to flush the toilet, fill up the sink, etc. If you need hot water for dishes or because you're going to take a quick shower, this is the gas water heater. You will turn that on approximately 30 minutes before you need hot water. I can actually hear it kick on right now. And then once the water's hot, you do not need to leave this on. It will just waste propane. Please turn that off as well. You'll notice here, I will do another video that it comes to the living room sides, bedroom sides. If you are plugged in, you will not be using the generator or need to prime it. And you will not need to use the tank heaters. We are only renting this RV out in the summertime here in Montana, so tank heaters are not necessary. This is only if you were living in an RV in the wintertime, so you can just leave that alone. As always, I will end every video with saying if you have questions, feel free to message me on RVZ and I will get you taken care of. But that should be the basics of the water, where you can find the hose, what ends you need to use. Do make sure that you empty the hoses completely before placing them back under the RV. And I always recommend, because I don't want to have anyone replace anything, is to make sure that you lock up those sides carefully. Those keys can bend if you're not gentle, so just make sure that when you twist it and you lock it, that you do so gently to make sure that no one steals anything while you're out camping.